Just started. This is the weirdest thing, but also the greatest thing to happen for AEW. AEW at this point has been basically okay. Let me not lie, because I could say Impact, but I'll be lying because Impact did good with a lot of former WWE stars, but at the same time, a lot of them kind of just washed there for a bit and then left. Some of them can come back at moments like one of my favorites from Impact. I'm sorry, from WWE to Impact would always be Mickey James. I love Mickey James. I want her in Impact. I think she would always do amazing in Impact, always. But AEW has changed everything, and it has CM Punk and Daniel Bryan is no longer with WWE. It is not one of those no longer with as in yeah, they could come back anytime. No, they're fucking gone, bro. Like, gone. I mean, CM Punk, we already knew but we just felt like it was going to happen, like, at a stupid time when CM Punk comes back. It's like, oh my god, CM Punk is back. And then they try to bury him. Then they're going to then they realize they can't. Like, fudge, we have to push him now, fudge. That's what I thought it was going to go. Daniel Bryan was actually a surprise. It was a surprise, but it made sense at the same time. Like, what's left for Daniel Bryan to go do? He's done everything. The only thing you would say is the Universal title, but I couldn't see him beating the Tribal Chief at that in particular moment. I'm a little upset we didn't get an Edge match, like him versus Edge. I kind of would love to see that. Keith Lee, Adam Cole. Just saying, we could have had a little more matches out of him. I'm just stating. Oh, fudge. It's fine. But he's gone. Now he's with AEW. Both of them. And I had a feeling that if either one of them went to AEW, it was going to shake it up a lot. Because these aren't just two regular stars. These are what you would call generation stars. These are stars that no matter what company signs, you automatically win. Like at this point, you just automatically win. And here we go. All we need is AJ Lee. You gotta come back to wrestling. Gonna work for AEW, please, please, thank you, please. I miss you. I miss the Black Widow. I'm sorry, but no, let's continue.
Do I have everybody's attention now?
Yeah.
CM Punk made some headlines today with breaking news. It's been reported by Sean Ross Sapp, who is a very reliable source, that CM Punk is planning a wrestling return. More specifically, he's been talking to Tony Khan about joining AEW, and that is absolutely incredible news for all wrestling fans around the world. Outside of that, there's also been reports stating that Daniel Bryan is not going to re-sign with the WWE, and the merchandise team is not going to feature him moving forward, which means that he's most likely not going to come back to WWE, and the rumors are running around that he might join AEW as well. This means that All Elite Wrestling is most likely going to add CM Punk and Bryan Danielson to their roster, and I think this is going to change everything for AEW.
Yeah.
If Tony Khan really managed to sign both of these men, it will be huge for the wrestling world, and today I'm going to tell you why this will have such a big impact for AEW and the wrestling community. Without further ado, let's jump right into the video. I've spoken about this in the past before, but I will mention it again. Wrestling is all about creating special moments that people will remember forever. CM Punk and Bryan Danielson making their respective debuts in AEW would be two of those moments that people will forever cherish. If it were to happen, it would create a lot of buzz for AEW. Many people will be tuning into the show to see what will happen with Daniel Bryan and or CM Punk, and that is exactly what AEW needs. These debuts would be the buzz that could tremendously help All Elite Wrestling right now, and people will be talking about this for months, years, and from decades. Like literally when they're telling their grandkids if wrestling is still a thing, this will be something that pops up.
All by yourself. Don't have to go all by
implication that these two debuts would have is instantly bringing in more viewers to the company.
I think, yeah. I mean, it always would, because, let's look at it. Let's really look at it for a second. Malachi Black, Miro, Christian, Matt Hardy, Jericho. Jericho was the big one that did it for a good while and carried it for a while before, not dropping it, but before this thing really went down, for him to slowly put that in. Because after a while, it's cool when a star from a different company joins another company. That's cool. We all know how this works out. It works out in this easy way where it's just like, okay, well, the star is here, we got everything, and how do I put it in the best way? Because I know I'm messing up right now. It's like, when a major star from a different company joins, it's a big pop. It's a big reaction. You're wondering what's the first storyline immediately. They become the center of the attention. So the first 3 months or the first year of them being there is very, very important. The first, I say 3 months or the first few weeks of them being there, excuse me, you have to do something big with them. You have to. It's a guarantee. Like, once you sign a big major person like this, like these two, you have to do something big. You cannot just simply have it there and that's it. No, you have to make sure every single time that they are present for the beginning of it, it has to be bigger than everybody else. And that's the problem that I stated earlier, that plans have to change. Because I know that they probably had some big plans for one of these guys already, but now both of them, y'all tripping. Y'all finna have a whole trilogy match. I don't even know, bro. And then Kenny Omega trying to be the belt collector that he is, and he's claiming to be the best, and I already see how that's gonna work for CM Punk's angle. And then Daniel Bryan's there. Oh no, y'all tripping on every single count. AEW's ratings and everything's about to boost. They're gonna win everything. But yeah, we'll see how it all works out. We'll see what kind of gimmick that they use. What kind are they gonna be? Is CM Punk gonna be more edgier than normal? Is Daniel Bryan gonna be more serious, or is he still gonna be the fun-loving guy? We'll see how that works after that.
CM Punk and Daniel Bryan both joined All Elite Wrestling. I think that AEW Dynamite will be able to hit 1 million viewers on a weekly basis, if not a little more. One of the biggest issues with Dynamite's ratings is that they've been stuck around 800,000 viewers, and nothing seems to be helping them. Whether that's Sting joining, Miro making his debut, Andrade becoming All Elite, or Malachi Black stunning Cody Rhodes, it has not really had a significant impact on the ratings in the long term. Daniel Bryan and CM Punk are two huge names that would bring in a lot of casual wrestling fans, because a lot of casuals know who they are. I believe they can bring 200 to 300,000 viewers on a weekly basis. That might be me being a little bit too optimistic, but I can see it because I know that I would be watching on a more consistent basis, because I've been quietly watching their shows, but more of their big shows. But this would make each week must-see television. CM Punk and Daniel Bryan would add a lot to the in-ring product of AEW. This is an issue that I've had with the company for the last year, which is why I kind of stopped watching it for a while. A lot of you guys think it's a copyright thing, but it's not. It's a fact that I think AEW wrestlers need to learn how to actually wrestle, and I think that these two would come in and actually teach the proper mechanics of a
What the fudge is going on in this picture, bro? Was she finna drill this woman? What the fudge? It's a dentist's office? Look like a dentist's office too, bro. Whatever drill. That's not a thing that they just... What the fudge? I mean, I know they drill teeth, but... Okay. But no. I mean, yeah, I feel like my thing with AEW, it's not a major problem that I have. It's just me when it comes to going out to go watch AEW. Never really cared as much. You get what I'm saying? Like, they had some great wrestlers that wanted to know what was going to happen. Like, my first major reason for wanting to watch AEW was for Cody Rhodes, because I love Cody Rhodes. I love Cody Rhodes when he was in WWE. I loved it when he left WWE, and loved the whole Nightmare persona and everything like that. But then we got a lot more signings, and then we got like Jericho and everything like that. They made me really want to watch it, see how this is going to work. And then now I've been able to keep up every now and then. I miss a few weeks, and that's bad because I miss, parts of the story and everything. Like, I miss I think I missed the debut of Kenta. I think that's what they called him. He used to be Hideo Itami. I missed that debut. What other? I missed a lot of other things. I missed a lot of other things to like fill in the blank. Like Taz, I missed that entire thing. Like things that are really cool, but that I missed, and I'm kind of like upset that I kind of missed out on it. So I'm like, fudge. But other than that, it's been a great thing. AEW is on its own. Oh yeah, I gotta watch this video. I just remembered that video. I want to talk about that too. But AEW is on its own level, and I like it that it's not like direct competition with like NXT, SmackDown, or Raw. It's on its own thing. I like that. The wrestling will get better, and I cannot wait.
Professional wrestling match. CM Punk and Daniel Bryan are perfect for that role. They're going to be able to help some of the younger guys or the indie veterans improve in the ring. This can include teaching them the importance of selling and pacing, because that seems to be a really big issue with the company.
Yes. Selling and pacing is a very big thing that AEW flops in. Their matches are fast-paced a lot. Some matches are always fast-paced, and that's a problem only when sometimes you need to let the wrestlers have the time to settle, because they just quickly go in and get out, get in, get out, and they just keep moving. It's a continuous. It's not a break in between it. It's not a slowing down part moment. I'm not saying put a person in a headlock for 3 minutes straight. I'm just stating slow it down, let them breathe, then continue on. It doesn't have to be a fast-paced spot fest throughout the whole thing. Let them chain wrestle. Let them legitimately wrestle out here. Let them do those things that make people remember other shows. It's fine. Just, calm down.
On the other hand, Daniel Bryan and CM Punk are going to have some amazing matches that I seriously cannot wait to see. There's so many dream matches that would need to happen. Daniel Bryan and CM Punk would have to have matches against Malachi Black, Andrade, Hangman Adam Page, MJF, Ricky Starks, Sammy Guevara, and Kenny Omega. And there's so many more names as well. These are a ton of fresh and new matchups that we have not really seen in the past before. I think that CM Punk versus MJF is a feud that would have some iconic promos, and it would easily make a lot of money for the company.
Ma, I want to help you. Get me started in the business.
Don't call it a comeback.
I think the more important impact that CM Punk and Daniel Bryan can have with AEW for the long term is their creative minds. As we discussed, they can help when it comes to the in-ring product. That is obvious. They can also do the same.
One thing I like about stories coming from CM Punk and Daniel Bryan is like they may not all have to be like the best stories of all time, but one of the greatest stories I think I love to see from Daniel Bryan in particular was I think was the whole Heath Slater story, that he was like wrestling against people that he was wrestling against people that you probably would say, that's a match we don't want to see. Well, I want to see that. But making him slowly into a star just by wrestling one guy. You slowly become a star by wrestling one guy. Heath Slater. The one that his entire gimmick for like almost a whole year or two was basically, I got kids. That was it. CM Punk, same thing. He's like, what are you going to do to make yourself go out there and really be something. I'm gonna hit people a lot. No, do something else. Come on. Do something cool. You got like 30 seconds. Come on. Stuff like that. I like to hear that.
Thing when it comes to the creative side of things. Let's take Daniel Bryan as an example. He was given a creative role on SmackDown in the beginning of the year, and everyone was in love with SmackDown during that time period. New stars were getting pushed, the in-ring work was being prominently featured, and even the storylines were entertaining. Daniel Bryan clearly has a love for the business, whether it is inside the ring or outside. He should be a valuable piece of the company after he decides to retire from wrestling. CM Punk, on the other hand, also had some really cool creative ideas when he was on WWE backstage. An example was how he thought Keith Lee should have been pushed quicker after Survivor Series. The former champion is all about pushing for the future, and I think both of these guys will be working behind the scenes with Tony Khan, making AEW better for the next decade, showing a lot of new faces on TV. CM Punk and Daniel Bryan joining AEW would have a massive impact on the world of professional wrestling. If they were to join, that would only continue to give AEW the big names that they need to make their roster even more stacked. This would no doubt influence talent.
A stacked roster from AEW, I think a stacked roster, it's good for. I think the one thing I think AEW will always do better than WWE's is because they let the wrestlers go do other things when they're not needed at the moment. They let them go do other things instead of like sit on the shelf and have to like just wait. I think that's one good thing that AEW has. It's like if John Moxley isn't needed for the next 2 or 3 months, let him go to New Japan. Let him go do that. He just lost their championship, didn't he? To I forgot Lance Archer, something like that. He lost the championship recently. I do know that. I saw the picture. I was like, oh, he dropped it. I liked him as champion too. Real rough and tough guy when it came to that. But I kind of understand why. Him holding the title for this long, it's cool and everything, but after a while, like, when we're going to make a new star with that title. So, I understand. But I think with a stacked roster, as long as you give everyone something to do when they're not there, everyone should be happy. No one should really have too many complaints. Everyone should be good. No problems come in. Because everyone has something to, go do. I think WWE just had too many people and didn't have enough to like divide them into places where they could go. So they just had like a bunch of stars that they just had. It wasn't just creative team didn't know what to do with them. It was looking at the creative team and looking at the people that they had, and they couldn't correlate with the two because they couldn't find a particular spot for them. I think EC3 could have thrived in NXT a little bit longer. I think Keith Lee could have been a United States champion or Intercontinental champion at the particular moment. Right now. I'm trying to think. It's a lot. But it's a lot that's swirling through my mind at the same time. I'm like, you know what? It's fine. It's a lot of things that they could have done better. And this is coming from just a fan. I'm not a writer or nothing. I didn't go to school for it. This is just coming from a fan's perspective of it. Of things that I think would have been nice for WWE to do. I think it would have been nice for them to partner up with other companies every now and then. What? Hold on. This could be, I'm sorry.
Around the world to consider joining AEW as their first option instead of the WWE. Many times people always want to join World Wrestling Entertainment because they view it as the bigger company, but I think adding CM Punk and Daniel Bryan to a roster full of veterans like Moxley, Kenny Omega, Chris Jericho, MJF, Hangman, and Cody Rhodes, and all the other names that those guys have over there would be enough to make them the #1 destination for a lot of people. The last point that I would like to make.
For sure it's a game changer. We all know it's a game changer. I think we all knew that CM Punk going to WWE was going to be a game changer, but we just knew that he wasn't going to be able to beat a lot of the other stars because of storyline reasons. Stars that he could actually beat when you take away most of the storylines and you have it as like the storyline is the wrestling portion. Then yeah, he could literally beat a lot of the stars, but storyline to move the story forward, no, he doesn't do it. He doesn't do it this time. It'll be another time. But AEW, the one thing I like about NXT and AEW in particular is the titles. Is when it comes to title holders, how quick a person could drop a title and how quick they could win it back and things like that. I like the idea of the randomness of it, that it's not a simple cut, dry, easy story to always digest, that you can always see it going one way, but sometimes we have to just let it go, because I think we do the same with WWE also, and that's why I mentioned NXT, because I mean, and I know it's not the main roster, but because main roster it sometimes it's kind of simple when you don't have too many stars. It's more simple, but NXT has a lot of stars there that it's not as, for any title or anything in NXT, I think I like it because the randomness of it. Someone could just win the title like 2 months ago and already dropped it to somebody else, and they may not start a feud to go back for the title, or they may. It's not always we have to have a rematch. No, they sometimes would move on off the bat, go for someone else, go someone much bigger than them. It gives talent not the shelf treatment, but another thing to distract them from the obvious title win they're gonna win or they're gonna go after. That's what I like. Same with AEW does the same, but it's just theirs is taken a little more serious than NXT's. That's my big thing.
Is that this would be a game changer for AEW. Right now, AEW is on a good track to be a very healthy company that's easily the second biggest wrestling promotion in the world right now. However, I believe signing these two guys would be very big for AEW. I think they'd be so big that it would change the game. These signings would be the moments that fans look back when they say that this is when everything changed for the company and professional wrestling as a whole. All Elite Wrestling has the potential to close the gap between itself and WWE. And honestly, it kind of starts with CM Punk and Daniel Bryan. And that is why I think these two signings with AEW would be huge for the brand. However, we need to wait and see what actually happens and plays out, because as reliable as Sean Ross Sapp is, you never know. This could be CM Punk trolling everyone only to make a surprise return to WWE.
No. He cannot go to WWE. Why? Because him going to WWE, him versus Roman Reigns would be a cool match and everything, but he's not beating Roman. He doesn't beat Roman. He doesn't. He has to lose to Roman, and it's probably like The Fiend probably beats Roman. Or The Rock, or something. Probably not, but it's other stars that could do it. I mean, it gets the main event WrestleMania. That's stupid.
Other hand, Daniel Bryan might just want to spend more time with his family, so we don't really know his situation either. However, I do think that AEW could give him the perfect part-time schedule. We'll have to wait and see is what I'm trying to say, but I have a feeling that it's actually going to happen with both of these men. But like I said, let's just be a little patient. Anyways, that is it for the video, guys. Thank you.
We'll see what happens. We'll see. That's what I'm waiting for.